Christina, another big investment here for Nvidia.
Very big. The list keeps growing. The checks keep growing. The chip maker is putting $2 billion into Marvell technology, and that's why you're seeing Marvell shares up over 8% on the news. The deal really centers on Nvidia's platform and lets custom chips plug into its infrastructure. Marvell designs those custom AI chips for major companies like Amazon. They actually compete with Nvidia's GPUs, graphic processing units, but this partnership kind of flips that dynamic, giving Nvidia a shot at a much bigger market. As the CEO Jensen Huang told us exclusively this morning. Listen in.
Together, we'll be able to address the customers whether they would like to use all NVIDIA gear or they would like to augment our NVIDIA gear with their specialized processors. And together, we'll be able to address a much, much larger TAM.
And TAM being total addressable market. Marvell is just the latest, though. This month alone, NVIDIA has committed $2 billion each to Nebius, Lumentum, Coherent. Before that, $2 billion into Synopsys, $1 billion into Nokia, stakes in xAI, OpenAI, and Intel. So why the massive spending spree? Well, NVIDIA isn't just selling chips anymore. The CEO often reminds investors at every event that it's not a chip company, but rather an AI infrastructure firm trying to own the entire AI factory. That means locking in the suppliers that build the optical networking, the custom silicon, and the interconnects means those companies are financially and strategically tied to NVIDIA's ecosystem. NVIDIA shares are, of course, higher this morning, though the broader market is up as well, so maybe not necessarily because of this deal. The takeaway, though, NVIDIA is spending aggressively to make sure the AI build-out runs through its ecosystem, no matter whose chips end up on their racks.
The other interesting thing, Christina, was his discussion about the percentage of their business that is cloud or hyperscaler. His general view is that this market is broadening quickly to all kinds of areas of industrial economies everywhere.
Yeah, and the other point, too, to your point about expanding, he made a comment about margins possibly coming down for enterprise software. That is the first time I'm hearing him actually say that out loud. That is a big comment. What we know with software names like Oracle, SAP, their margins are extremely high because they're an asset-light business that relies on reoccurring subscriptions or licenses. So you're seeing margins anywhere between 70 to 90%. What Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, is now saying going forward, every time a company does anything, there's going to be some element of AI and large language models involved, and with that, you're going to need the hardware, the energy, etc., to run it, which means margins will come down for many of these big software enterprise names.
Following the news of a $2 billion strategic investment in Marvell technology, Nvidia shares are up 3% in early trade on Tuesday. Despite a year that has been anything but easy for Nvidia owners, the company's stock began at $165.17 on Monday. Early trading saw a 7% increase in Marvell Technology shares, which went from $87.81 to $94. The AI infrastructure community is interested in what the cooperation means for the next round of data center build-out, and the deal is attracting attention far beyond both businesses. Despite a 55% one-year rise, Nvidia's stock is currently down 10% year-to-date. Let's examine the 3 reasons that the AI community is currently discussing this investment. First, the infrastructure equation is altered by the NVIDIA Link Fusion partnership. NVIDIA and Marvell Technology established a strategic alliance to use NVIDIA Link Fusion to incorporate Marvell into the NVIDIA AI Factory and AI RAN ecosystem. The partnership focuses on silicon photonics technology, custom XPUs, scale-up networking, and transforming telecom networks into infrastructure that is ready for artificial intelligence. This flexibility is important for clients developing next-generation AI systems. Especially noteworthy is the silicon photonics angle. Photonic fabric technology was added to Marvell's portfolio with the acquisition of Celestial AI, and NVIDIA's investment now places it immediately into its ecosystem. That type of infrastructure layer distinction transcends GPU rivalry. Data center revenue reached $1.518 billion in Q3 fiscal 2026, accounting for 73% of total revenue, according to Marvell's fiscal 2026 revenue growth of 42%. NVIDIA is not funding a startup that is speculative. The business is strengthening its relationship with a semiconductor manufacturer that is already creating significant momentum for data centers. Marvell's unique position in the data center infrastructure layer is validated by the deal. Reason 2. The story gains a catalyst layer in GTC 2026. The Marvell agreement coincides with NVIDIA's GTC 2026 event, where CEO Jensen Huang is scheduled to give a keynote address on AI factory deployments, next-generation GPU designs, and extended ecosystem alliances. GTC has historically been a significant driver of Nvidia stock, and investors are keeping a careful eye out for information about the company's product roadmap that might help to clarify the forward story. Regarding the demand environment, Huang has been straightforward. During Nvidia's Q4 fiscal 2026 earnings call, he stated, "Computing demand is growing exponentially," and added, "Enterprise adoption of agents is skyrocketing." GTC 2026 is anticipated to expand upon these issues. Prior to the lecture, the ecosystem expansion story is framed by the Marvell deal, which was revealed just before the event. With data center revenue of $62.31 billion, up 75% year over year, Nvidia's Q4 fiscal 2026 revenue exceeded forecasts at $68.13 billion. Huang has a solid foundation going into GTC thanks to this foundational background. Investors will want to know if the Marvell relationship portends more announcements about ecosystem development. Reason 3. There is a turning point in the chart versus fundamentals debate. Right now, Nvidia's stock chart presents a convoluted picture. Nvidia has dropped below a 9-month trading range, and if important technical support levels don't hold, analysts have warned of a possible decline to $150. Investors with a technical focus should pay special attention to that level. The basic image pushes in the other way. At $275.95, the analyst consensus price objective suggests a significant increase from present levels. Nvidia has consistently confused negative technical readings with fundamental outperformance, as evidenced by its 5-year gain of 1,140 points or 48%. For more background on the supply-demand dynamics supporting that theory, you can read more about Nvidia's GPU availability predicament and the current condition of AI compute demand. Join our investor community. Hit subscribe and like to get your daily Nvidia stock insights and tutorials delivered. In addition to the Marvell purchase, Nvidia's venture capital division, NVentures, joined Energy Impact Partners and Edison International in a $28 million Series A funding round for ThinkLabs AI, an AI-powered grid intelligence startup. Even if high multiple technology names continue to face macro headwinds and geopolitical uncertainties, the breadth of ecosystem investment supports the bull argument. With a bullish direction and medium confidence, the sentiment composite for Nvidia stock is at 70.06, indicating a market that is leaning optimistic but keeping a close eye on developments. Things to watch. Investors should keep an eye on whether today's rally continues till the end. The crucial line in the sand for Nvidia shares in the near future is still the $150 technical support level. Additionally, traders will want to know if GTC 2026 provides the market's desired level of product roadmap clarity. This week's follow-through could change the perception of Nvidia's stock and, consequently, the chipmaker industry as a whole. A memo from Goldman Sachs' trading department has been shared, pointing out what it calls a major discrepancy in Nvidia's shares. The main finding is that, despite continuing to provide some of the greatest profits growth in the index, Nvidia is currently trading at a forward price-to-earnings ratio below the S&P P500 for the first time in over 10 years. Nvidia is priced at about 19.7 times forward profits, according to the Goldman Sachs trading desk memo. The forward multiple of the S&P P500 is around 20.3 times. Although that difference is tiny in absolute terms, it has historical significance. For the first time in over 13 years, Nvidia has not outperformed the larger index. What Nvidia was highlighted in the Goldman note. The existing configuration was referred to as a growth disconnect by Goldman's trading desk. Nvidia's stock is priced as though its growth days are over, despite the company's continued tremendous underlying results. That was reaffirmed in the most recent quarter. Nvidia announced $68.1 billion in revenue for the fourth quarter, a 73% increase over the previous year. Revenue from data centers increased by 75% to $62.3 billion. Revenue for the entire year was $215.9 billion. In a typical setting, those are not the figures of a business trading at or below market multiples. In his commentary, Goldman questioned why a business with such impressive achievements was trading similarly to the average S&P 500 constituent. The conclusion is that either Nvidia is being unfairly penalized for macro issues unrelated to its business fundamentals, or the market as a whole is being overly generous with valuations. What is causing the compression of Nvidia's valuation? Rather than a particular decline in Nvidia's prospects, the compression is indicative of a wider repricing of high-growth technology equities. Even if forecasts for profits growth are still high, the tech sector's forward PE ratio has fallen to about 21 times, the lowest in 3 years. Nvidia in particular has been impacted by a number of macro forces. The wider IT industry has been under pressure due to the Iranian war. High multiple growth stocks are most severely impacted by rising interest rates since they lower the present value of future earnings. Export restrictions in China continue to be a structural barrier to income. All of these factors have caused the stock to decline by about 8% so far this year. Nvidia's Rubin Ultrapods are a model for agentic AI data centers, according to Wolfe Research, which reaffirmed an outperform rating with a $275 price target. Goldman has set a price target of $250 for the stock. Why demand for Nvidia is still high? CEO Jensen Huang revealed at GTC 2026 that Nvidia will receive at least $1 trillion in purchase orders for Vera Rubin and Blackwell chips by the end of 2027. What Huang reported at the same conference a year prior was multiplied by that amount. Nvidia has set a midpoint revenue target of $78 billion for the upcoming quarter. The number that investors are most interested in is the data center. On May 27, 2026, Nvidia will release its next earnings report. The numerical representation of the value disconnect. According to Global Banking and AMP Finance Review, Nvidia's forward PE ratio is about 19.7 times, which is lower than the S&P P 500's roughly 20.3 times. The last time this occurred, prior to 2013, more than 13 years ago. Revenue for the fourth quarter was $68.1 billion, up 73% over the previous year. Data center Q4, $62.3 billion, a 75% increase from the previous year. Guidance for the upcoming quarter is a midpoint of roughly $78 billion. According to stockanalysis.com, Goldman's price target is $250. May 27, 2026 is the next earnings date. Investors should take note that Goldman's note does not categorically state that Nvidia stock is inexpensive. The relative oddity is what it highlights. An outsized value premium is no longer given to a company that generates outsized profit growth. The trading desk is highlighting that as a signal worth keeping an eye on because it is uncommon. The business fundamentals are not the main risk associated with the bull thesis. The question is whether the multiple can remain tight despite the underlying results continuing to outperform expectations due to macro pressure, increasing rates, and geopolitical uncertainty. It might be challenging to defend the current valuation at parity with the S&P P500 if Nvidia meets its $78 billion target and raises once more in May. Goldman's note highlights this tension. Don't forget to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your input helps create a more knowledgeable community where we can all learn and grow together in the world of investing. Stay up to date with the latest market trends, insights, and key updates by subscribing to Investing Tutorial. We're here to help you make smarter investment decisions and stay ahead of the curve.
You said, I saw a quote from you that it really stuck out to me, and I want you to walk me through it. You said, the bull is sleeping, not dead. So take me through your thoughts on this market action that we've seen, particularly this month.
Yeah, thanks for having me. The bull is sleeping kind of reflects when I was on last time. We talked about how this would be a year of the proud bull rather than the raging bull. And if we take a look back at what I predicted when I was on your show last time, I made two predictions. One of them was true and one of them was not, that Rick Rieder would be the next Fed chair. That proved to be incorrect. And what I did say was that we would have a peak to trough pullback of about 10%. So if I was playing baseball, I'd be in the Hall of Fame. So I'll take that, batting 50%. But the pullback is driven by the three major events that we've had this year, right? Software scare, the private credit fears, and then the conflict in Iran. The ultimate fear and challenge for investors is going to be with inflation fears of oil and gas eclipsing $4 a gallon today. Is it becomes a terrible environment for sentiment because bonds are under pressure and stocks are under pressure. So for incumbents who are already fully invested, we're suggesting to folks rebalance. If we get down peak to trough 15%, that's going to present a fantastic time to rebalance. And for new investors, yields are popping, so it could be presenting an attractive entry point for high quality municipal bonds or shorter dated fixed income. We do see additional pressure. We think that the conflict in Iran is going to be more complex than initially anticipated and probably drag on. So, we wouldn't be surprised if we retreated another 5 or 10% to the bottom. But the nice thing about the markets is the American economy is incredibly resilient. Being down only 5, 6, 7% across the major indices with all these significant fears alone, and you couple them together, we believe that the economy is a coiled spring. We do need to have a resolution in Iran. That's going to be critical. We can't sustain these high oil prices for a long time, or recession fears, could become a reality.
All right, Samuel, a lot of things that I want to touch on there. Let's start with the first one. You mentioned Iran a couple times, the situation we have going there. How much of the current weakness right now in the market do you think is tied to the Iranian war versus broader macro concerns?
I would, if I had to peg a number, I would probably say 80%. Oil is critical to our economy. Everything we do and touch involves oil and energy. While we don't think about it on a daily basis, the other thing is the consumer. Americans can't sustain it. The high consumption rate with $4 a gallon gasoline. So the software fears. Who knows where AI will take us. I think that those may be overblown. The private credit fears, I think that's more of a structural issue than an actual credit issue. So I would peg most of the pullback on Iran.
All right, and then you mentioned that you're describing the current setup right now as a coiled spring. So what do you view as the catalyst that it could unlock our upside first?
If you watch the markets on a daily basis, we're one tweet or Truth Social post away from 1,000-point day. So I think, first things first is getting a resolution in Iran. Second thing is, continued resilience and strength of the consumer. We also have the benefits of the One Big Beautiful Act bill that are still going to make their way through the economy. So there's a lot to be excited about. Iran is going to be, critical in getting that proud bull to rage for the rest of 2026.